It's no secret electric cars are fast. They're reliable. They're easy to use. The Super Baja Rey now gives you a 1/6 scale 4-wheel drive desert runner capable of 61 miles an hour out of the box. Is there anything more in life you want? I don't know. Let's find out. You used to have to choose. Do you want scale or do you want performance? Losi's trying to change that with a really performance-based scale model that looks like a real desert runner. 4-link rear suspension, a solid rear axle. It's actually looking pretty good, and it's super fast with 6S power. Here's the chassis. Normally you would say that most bigger cars become an A-scale kit that kind of been enlarged, and they retrofit things to make it look like what it's supposed to. In this case, if you looked at the Baja Rey, not the supersize one, it would almost look exactly like this. It's like they pushed plus 150 on the zoom and printed this out for us, which is a good thing because that solid rear axle is really cool looking. The links work. There's big shocks. You got the motor left and right, so you get a little bit of torque steer with that configuration, but at this speed and scale, you don't notice it as much. The other great side of this not being just a big A-scale car is that, yes, it's still 4-wheel drive, but you get independent front suspension and the 4-link rear suspension. Pretty scale-looking tires, a solid rear diff, which means you get the traction you need when you need it. And also on this model, you get a 1200 kilovolt dynamite motor, plus the dynamite fuse speed control, and it takes twin battery packs, which means you get to stuff 2 in the back door on this one. During our testing, we did some of the video shoot on 4S, which is 2.2S, and then we did the real testing on 3S, which is 6S, which was pretty freaking awesome. And then we got shown an experimental 8S configuration where it was friggin' nutty. Let's be real for a minute and say that this suspension design of independent front and 4-link rear isn't the best performance setup for racing. It is, however, great for desert running, and that's what this suspension is modeled after, is going fast, straight, absorbing huge bumps and rocks and not getting upset about anything and just going forward. It's for a Baja race. So therefore, the rear suspension has like 5 inches of travel. It's freaking insane. It looks like a stink bug if you take the body off and drop the suspension down. But everything is kind of fixed, which kind of disappointing to us because even though this isn't a race truck, we want to race it, and there's very little that you can adjust without modifying the car, which obviously option parts are there for a reason, to make you spend some more money, make it go a little faster, a little bit more tunable. But out of the box, it's pretty sick, and that picture right there, that video was freaking insane. Loved it. I actually ran over the camera. Here's that massive rear travel that I was talking about. It's pretty cool. The chassis is pretty clean. There's plastic bracing. Without the roll cage on, it's kind of deceiving to see what's going on and how much stuff is going on underneath the body. Because one of the downsides of a kit like this is that once you install the roll cage, and here it comes, here we go, roll cage, it's a little bit more difficult to actually get to the bits inside there. Because now you're bolting on a roll cage, you're bolting on a body, and it isn't 4 screws or 4 body clips that get in there anymore. So if you have any problems, critical problems, you're going to take a little bit more time, a little bit more wrenching. Get an electric screwdriver, it'll save your life. But overall, we did a pretty good ass kicking on this truck during testing, and it was the test mule for Losi, so they've been testing this for probably a couple months, and they had only admitted breaking 1 arm. And you can see in the beginning of the video, we clocked some big rocks. One of the downsides of having a big kit is that you start to think you can tackle giant rocks, but 30 miles an hour onto a plastic arm usually results in a broken arm. So let's talk about some of the performance here. The immediate thing is that with 6S power in here, this thing is silly fast. 50 miles an hour in the dirt at a 20-pound car is pretty scary. You can hurt somebody, so be careful, but a lot of smiles generated just by punching this thing and going straight. And this is what it's good for, going straight over large open terrain for a long period of time and just hitting the ruts and bumps and stuff like that. It excels at this. One of the things that I noticed, and this was true in the smaller kit, and every kit I test with a solid rear axle that has to have soft suspension, is that when you hit some jumps, it's very easy to donkey kick, as we call it in RC, is that you bottom out the rear suspension and it punches it up, and you're kind of going ass up over most jumps without being a little bit more conscious over the face. The throttle control in the air isn't as good as you would hope because it's brushless, so it kind of fades some of that. Overall, though, did pretty good, and you need a really big open space to kind of get its legs open and have a lot of fun. Crash, do whatever you want. The full review is in issue VRC number 30. Click download, subscribe. You're going to get a little teaser at the end right here, and then we're going to jam to some music. Some of you hate it, some of you love you. Honestly, we don't really care. We do this for ourselves. If there was only one view, it was me. So check out the magazine. Do that stuff right there. Enjoy Rapid Decay. That's our painter Joe's band from years and years ago when he wasn't bald like us.
Join us in the legions of the
You guys are still here? That's 8S power, and that's freaking insane.